brain. There were three important parts of the brain: the forebrain, the midbrain, and the hindbrain. These three main parts were involved in different functions. As I've told you, the involuntary functions were taken care by the hindbrain, and the and the forebrain, which was there, it was involved in the actions such as thinking, imagining. The midbrain, which was there, it was involved in the various other functions. So different functions were conducted by different parts of the brain, and these parts of the brain are involved in the movement. But have you thought about the structure which is there? It is a delicate structure. This structure has to be protected. So all your body parts, there is a support given to each and every organ by a support which is there. That support, it protects each and every organ of your body, and that is nothing but the bony structure which is there internally. So the bones which are there, they act as a connective tissue, connects to each and every organ, and they are giving the support to the body parts or the organs. Now this bony structure which is there, if you consider the brain, if you touch the upper part of the brain, it is a hard structure. That hard structure is nothing but it is the skull. So the skull which is there, it protects the brain, and this skull which is there, it is filled up by the brain, which is brain inside the skull. It is contained with a fluid-like structure, or a balloon which is filled with the fluid, and inside that the brain is there. Now this fluid which is there, it also helps in protecting the brain from the shock. So when the shocks are there or mechanical injury is there, the brain is protected by the fluid, and it helps in absorption of the shocks. So this way the skull, which is filled with the fluid, it helps in protection of the brain, which is a delicate organ which has to be protected, which is the main organ which helps in coordinating the functions of your body, both voluntary as well as involuntary functions. So when voluntary and involuntary functions are carried by the brain, then that organ has to be protected, and this organ is protected by the bony structure, that is the skull. Then what about the spinal cord? The spinal cord is also protected by a structure which is called as the vertebral column. So if you touch the back portion, and if you run a hand in in the middle part of the back, you will see that there is a hard structure which is nothing but it is the vertebral column. So if you consider the brain is protected by the skull, and if you consider the spinal cord is protected by the vertebral column. This vertebral column is again made with calcium, and it is a bony structure which protects the spinal cord. The spinal nerves, or the nerves which are arising from the spinal cord, they will be arising from the outer part of this vertebral column, and the main part, that is the spinal cord, it is protected by the vertebral column. So we have seen how are these tissues protected. The tissues are protected by a hard covering, skull which is the hard covering which is protecting the brain, and the vertebral column, it is the hard covering which protects the spinal cord. Then the next point that we need to focus is, how does the nervous tissue shows action? We have seen the various functions, as I told you, that there are voluntary as well as involuntary functions, and the functions which are done with the help of which are willingly done, that is the voluntary actions, as if you are walking, running, you're writing, you're going and watching a movie. So whatever you're doing, that all actions which are under your own control, or the voluntary actions which are happening externally, there large amount of movement of the muscles is required. Also internal actions which are happening, or the internal processes which are going on, the processes like digestion, there is respiration going on, there is a continuous movement of there is continuous pumping of the heart, which helps in the movement of the blood in your body, and the circulation of the blood is happening because of the pumping of the heart. So these actions which are there, they need to give the muscle a particular message, or a particular message or a signal to contract and relax. So this signal which is there, how does this actions takes place? What happens is, when when the action has to take place, the body has to move, the muscles has to move. So when the muscles are moving, there has to be something which has to pass through it, or some signal has to be given to the muscles. So these actions which are there, they are coordinated by the proteins. There are certain amount of proteins which are produced, which helps in the movement of the muscles, and when the muscles are moving, the shape of the muscles is changing, either it is contracting or relaxing. So when these changes in the shapes of the muscles or the movement of the body is happening, it is happening because of the proteins. So when these proteins are secreted, these proteins will help in the movement, or will help in the contraction or relaxation of the muscles, and ultimately the action will go on. For example, if a hot bowl of or a hot pan of something is there, if a cooked food is there on in a hot vessel, if I am touching that vessel, my hand is moved. So this movement which is there, it needs the contraction and relaxation of the muscles, where if the muscles are contracted, then only the hand will be moved. So when the contraction of the muscles is happening, this is happening because of the proteins which are mediating the movement of the muscles, or mediating the change of the cells, or change of shape of the muscle cells. So the muscle cells has to change the shape, and this change of the shape is done with the help of certain proteins. So this is how the nervous tissue acts. How does the nervous tissue act? The response is given to the brain will take a signal, based on the signal, or based on the information, based on the sense organs will collect the information. For example, my eyes is collecting an information that someone is looking at me, or some car is coming from a side, or a tiger is coming, or a dog is unnecessarily coming from a side, or he is not in a good condition, or he is trying to bite me. So what will happen is, when the dog is coming from dog is coming towards you, you need to move so that he will not harm you. So when you have to move, there has to be a decision which has to be taken place at that particular time. So the brain is collecting, the sense organ is collecting the information, it is going to the brain is processing that information, and ultimately the signal is sent for the movement of that particular action. So this all long process which is there, it is done by the brain, and that's why after giving the signal, the muscles will secrete, the brain will also help in secreting the proteins. These proteins will help in changing the shape of that particular muscle, and the muscle will move accordingly. The body muscle, it will get the signal, and the proteins will be secreted, and the body will be moved behind to let the dog go and not harm you, and you will be protected. So this way, these nervous tissue which are there, they are coordinated with the help of the proteins. So nervous tissue, there are certain proteins which helps in movement of the muscles or the glands, which will be the effector organs. We have seen in the previous chapter the sensory organ and the effector organ, the receiver, receptor and the effector. So receiver are nothing but, those are all the spinal nerve, those are all the sensory organs which are there, like the eye, the ear, the nose, the tongue which is there. These are all the sensory organs which will receive the sensations, and it will go to the brain or the spinal cord. In case of reflex action, it will go to the spinal cord. In case of the long actions or involuntary and voluntary actions which takes time, it will go to the brain, and the processing and the decision will be done, and based on that the signals will be sent. So these actions which are there, they are all controlled by the nervous tissue, and this way these actions are taking place. We have seen the coordination in animals, we have seen the nervous system that is working in the animals, we have seen how the nervous system is protected, and how the spinal cord, the brain and the spinal cord are being protected. We have also seen the actions which are taking place in the nervous system. Now, let us see the coordination in plants. The coordination which is happening in plants. What do you think? There is any coordination, or is there any nervous system which is working in the plants? Have you seen the plants which are moving? The growth of the plants is happening. The plants are going upward, the roots are going downward. There are tendrils, there are creepers which are growing. There is a pea plant which is growing along. If the support is given, it will grow. The money plants also, they grow if there is a proper support. They keep on going. They go towards the light. So these movements which are there, that we see, the movement of the plants, there you must have seen that the pollen tube which is there, if you must be aware of the germination, you must be aware of the fertilization. if this is the female reproductive system, female reproductive organ, and these are the ovules, the pollen grain, it forms a pollen tube. The small pollen tube, initially it is this size, then it grows, it grows, it grows, and it goes towards the ovules for fertilization. And from this the germ cell, it enters and it enters here, and then the fertilization happens. So this movement of the pollen tube, it is again a type of movement which is shown by the plant. We have also seen the mimosa plant, that is the touch-me-not plant, or the chewy-mooey plant, which is commonly called. We touch that plant and the leaves get closed. What is this? These are all the sensations which are happening to the plants. So, is there any nervous system in the plants? Do you think there is a nervous system in the plants? Obviously not. There is no nervous tissue or there is no nervous system in the plants. But the plants do show the movement. The plants show two different types of movement. There are growth dependent and growth independent. For example, the movement of the mimosa plant, if we touch, it will close. So this is a growth independent. The growth of the plant which is happening, that movement is a different thing. For example, if the germination of the seed, if you take, the seed has been germinated, this is the seed, the root grows downwards and the shoot goes upwards. So the shoot, it will grow and it will develop the leaves. The root will grow and it will be going down in search of the water or minerals. So these movements which we are seeing under the ground, that is happening after the germination of the seeds, these are the growth dependent. The plant is growing. As the plant grows, it will grow up, and it will also have flowers, it will have fruits. So these movements which are there, these are also seen in the plants. Basically, there is no nervous tissue or there is no reflex action. For example, the mimosa plant, if it is touched, it gets closed. So it's a kind of reflex action. Usually reflex actions happens in case of animals only, but there is no reflex action kind of thing in case of plants. The plants have movement which are of two types, growth dependent and growth independent. These movements are taking place with the help of certain electrochemical signals which are going on inside the plants, and these electrochemical signals which are passed and help the plants to move. For example, if you see the plants like the mimosa plant, the movement is not, if we touch the leaves, not only the leaves but the whole part, not only that particular leaf but the whole stem, it will be closed. The leaves which are there on that particular stem, that will be closed. So this is nothing but it is the sensation of the touch which is happening. There are various sensations, there are various types of tropism. These movements which are shown by the mimosa plant, they are called as seismonastic movement. What they are called? They are called as seismonastic movements. And there is another types of tropism that we see. Tropism, that means phototropism. If the movement of the plant is towards the sunlight, then it is called as the phototropism. For example, if you keep a plant near the window, the plant will grow upwards. And if you keep a plant away from the window, just a little bit closer to the window, the plant will go towards, it will bend down and it will go towards the light. So that movement which is there, that movement is towards the light, and it is called as the phototropism. There are another things like the chemotropism which we have seen in the pollen grain. The pollen grain is showing chemotropism. So the hydrotropism. Now what is hydrotropism? The movement of the roots towards the water, that will be the hydrotropism. So various types of movements that are shown by the plants, they are called as the tropisms, and the tropic movements, phototropic movements, chemotropic movements, hydrotropic movements, and so on. The movement which is shown by the touch, the sensation of the touch by the mimosa plant or the touch-me-not plant, that is called as the seismonastic movement. Then we will see in that also, we will be seeing the two different types of movements. Immediate response to the stimulus, like the mimosa plant. The best example is the mimosa plant, which is showing the immediate response. There is one more plant which shows the response to the insect, which eats the insect. It is a carnivorous plant. So that will show the response to the stimulus, immediate response to the stimulus, and the movement due to the growth. There will be movement due to the growth. As I told you about the germination of the seeds, if the seed is germinated, the roots go downwards and the shoot goes upward. These two movements are opposite to each other. The movement of the roots is in search of the water and minerals. The growth of the plant or the movement of the shoot is in search of the light or in search of the growth, or if it grows more, it will develop the fruits and as well as the flowers and the various other parts which are required by the plants to survive. So these are all the different types of movements that we will be showing. We will be seeing immediate response to the stimulus and movement due to the growth. So the first thing that we will be seeing is the immediate response to stimulus. Let us think of this plant. This is the first kind of movement which is shown by this plant, and this movement happens in a different point. The point of touch is different, and all other parts which get the sensation and which gets closed, they are different. So when we touch a single leaf, the whole leaves which are there on that particular part, that will get closed. So if there are these many leaves, even if I touch this leaf, all the leaves get sensation and all the leaves are closed. These all leaves will be closed because of the touch. This is monastic movement which is there has to be some communication between the system. For example, if the touch is here, I'm touching this part, there has to be something which is being transmitted from this, and plants use the electrochemical means which helps in transmission of the signal, or there are certain chemicals which are being produced which gives a sensation to the plants, and it helps in the movement of the plants. The tissues of the plants gets that sensation and helps in the closing the leaves in case of the touch me not plant. So there is no specialized system, as I told you, there is no specialized tissue for this particular plant, and this movement is because of the change of water, that is change in water concentration. Change in water concentration. So if more amount of water is there, the plants will swell, and if less amount of water is there, the plants will shrink. So the shrinkage of the water happens because the plants which when we touch the plant, the water level is reduced, and this reduced water level will help in the plants to shrink and then close. So this movement, that is the movement which are happening in case of this plant, that is which is an immediate response which is happening because of the change in the water concentration. The water concentration on that particular plant will change, and hence the movement will take place. Either the swelling of the plant will take, or the shrinkage of the plant will take place. So as I have told you, there is no particular system, there is no particular nervous system in the plants. There are two types of responses, growth dependent and growth independent. In that also we have again two types, immediate response to stimulus and movement due to growth. So immediate response, in that we are seeing the mimosa plant. The mimosa plant, even if we touch a single leaf, whole of the leaves will get closed. This happens because there is a signal, electrochemical signal which is passing, and this electrochemical signal which is there, it is dependent on the water concentration. The water concentration is either reduced or increased. The reduced water concentration will lead to shrinkage, and the increased water concentration will lead to the swelling of the plants, and ultimately the movement will happen accordingly.
No more spending your energy and money on coaching classes, or missing classes for rain, for rally, and any other nonsense. Subjects covered by multiple teachers with repeat telecasts. Doubts, concepts, applications, no problem. All explained through great and significant animation. So sit back comfortably in your home and watch Study Spectrum TV channel.
That is the movement due to growth. The movement of the plant happens because of the growth. As we have seen the germinating seed, the seed, when it is growing, the seed will develop the roots and it will also develop the shoots. These single cell which was there, it developed into a zygote, and that zygote developed into a multicellular plant. This multicellular plant, which has arisen from a single cell, that is growing because it is getting nutrition, and because of the nutrition, the plant of the cells which are there, they multiply and they form the various other tissues and various other organs of the plants they have been formed. So this movement which is happening inside a plant, that movements are in a particular direction, and that's why we feel or it appears as the plant is moving. So this type of movement which are there, they are growth dependent movement, and these growth dependent movement, they are in a different directions. For example, the movement of the roots is towards the gravity, or it goes in search of the water, and the movement of the shoot which is there, it is towards the light. So let us take an example. If I keep a plant in window, this particular plant, after a period of time, it will grow straight. So this growth is happening in the direction of the sunlight. Again, if I keep one plant, if I keep it away from the window, this plant, if it grows, it bends towards the light. So the movement is seen like this. The growth of the plant is happening like this. This you can practically do and see. If I keep a plant just away from the window, since it is not getting the sunlight, it will go in search of the sunlight and it will move towards the light, and it will bend. So this kind of movements which are there, they are movement dependent, and they happen when they are kept free. For example, if you see the tendrils, the tendrils of the plants, like the pea plants, the tendrils grow and they take a support and they grow. So this support which is there, if the object is coming in between their growth, then what happens is that object will restrict the growth of the tendril, and the tendril will be clinging, it will circle that particular object and it will clinch towards it. So that's why it will go round and round, and because of the object which is acting as a hindrance, it will reduce the growth. So the growth of the plant or growth of the tendrils which is there, it is reduced and the growth will be slow. So if it is kept free, the tendril will grow faster and it will grow bigger. So when the tendrils come in contact of that object, they do not move, or either they show a slow movement, and these tendrils which are there, they will either encircle that particular object and it will appear as it is clinging towards that particular object. So these are the different types of, these are the movements which are because of the growth. Now plants which are there, they in response to stimuli, they grow in a particular direction, and as these directions, as the growth is in a particular direction, it is a directional growth and it appears as the plant is moving. So these happens when there are environmental triggers. Environmental triggers are nothing but the external stimuli which are coming from the environment, like the light, the gravity, the chemicals. These are all the external stimuli and environmental triggers which will help in the movement of that particular plant. So this movement which is there are two different types of movements in that also. It will be towards the stimulus, and it can be away from the stimulus. So the movement which is there, it is again of two types, towards the stimulus and away from the stimulus. So when it happens towards the stimulus, for example this, you can take the light is there outside the window and the movement of the plant is happening towards the stimulus. Similarly, if you consider the roots, if I keep a plant inverted like this plant the shoot will go towards the stimulus, whereas the roots, they will go away from the stimulus. Here again, this roots which are there, they are getting stimulus of gravity. So this stimulus which is of the gravity is called as geotropism. Geotropism, or we can also call it as hydrotropism. When water is more, when we water this plant, the water will be more towards the lower part, and that's why the roots will be going towards the water. So it can be both the cases. It can be hydrotropism as well as it can be geotropism. The growth of the roots is towards the gravity. So this is an example of a movement which is against the stimulus, away from the stimulus, and the shoots which are there, they are showing the movement towards the stimulus. The movements which are happening in the plants, they are quick as well as fast, or quick as well as slow. So the quick movement which are shown by the mimosa plant, that will be moving in seismonastic movement will be shown by the plant in sense of the touch. If we touch the plant, it will show the movement instantly. And the movement of the flower, if you consider, it is a slow movement which is happening. This flower close and open because of the light. So as the light reduces, the flower will get closed, and as the light comes, it will get open. So this movement which is there, it is a comparatively slow movement. So there are, again I have told you, there are two different types of movements. There is a quick movement and there is again a slow movement. So the shoots which are there, they go towards the light, and roots which are there, they go towards the gravity. So it is geotropism, and this is the phototropism. Phototropism because it is going towards the sunlight, and geotropism because it is going towards the gravity. So two more types of tropism that we need to see in case of plants are the two different movements, like the chemotropism. As I have told you that the pollen tube which is there, it is formed in case of a female reproductive organ. So this is a flower, and the main part, these are the consider this flower. Inside the flower, if the pollen grains fall over here, it will form a pollen tube, and this pollen tube, it will come inside the ovary towards the ovule, where the ovulation or the fertilization takes place. Here, the ovules are present. The germ cell will enter from here, and it will enter and meet these ovules, and fertilization will take place, and the fruit and the seed is formed, or the embryo is formed after fertilization of this particular flower. So this fertilization which is happening, it is happening because of the pollen tube, and this pollen tube which is there, it is showing chemotropism, that is movement towards the chemical. It is in search of the chemicals which are there inside the ovules, and this pollen grain which is there, it will help in formation of the pollen tube because of the chemotropism. Another type of tropism that I have told you, that is the hydrotropism. That means the plants which are going, or the roots which are going towards the water, that will be the hydrotropism. So we have seen the coordination in the plants, and in that we have seen the immediate response to the stimulus, like the mimosa plant, and the plant which is a carnivorous plant. It eats the insect. That is a movement, that is the quick movement shown, and movement due to growth. There is growth. The growth which is happening in a particular direction, and that's why it appears as the plants is growing, as the plants is moving, but the plant is actually growing. And this growth movement, there are different types of movements. It can be the chemotropism, it can be hydrotropism or geotropism, and it can be phototropism. So these tropisms which are there, they are seen because of the electrical signal which is passing between them, and this electrical signal which is there, it helps in the movement of the plants. So electrochemical signals which are passing in case of animals as well as in the plants, it helps in the movement of the body, and it helps in the functioning of that particular organ, and that's why we call it as a coordination system in between the plants and in between the animals also.